Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Bluverse. Today we are joined by Joe Dischinger from Amazon Web Services Partner Organization. So Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Can you give us a little bit of background about yourself and some of your experiences?
Sure. By education, I'm a geoscientist. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree from the University of Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner, Julian.
Boomer Sooner, absolutely.
So I've spent about 20 years in the upstream oil and gas industry, the majority of that time at ExxonMobil. I've worked in exploration, development, and production, both as a geoscientist, but also managing geoscientists. I've spent quite a bit of time early in my career doing research on 3D visualization, integration, and teaching that to others. So later in my career, it was a natural fit for me to move into the upstream technology portfolio and to manage that portfolio for ExxonMobil. Today, I work for AWS, and I am the exploration, drilling, and completions lead in the partner organization, where I recruit and build out relationships with partners so that they can bring their best-in-class solutions to AWS, and we can deliver those to their customers.
So let's start off with the big picture view of the energy industry. Where has it been in the past about 5 years?
Well, I'd like to start actually back in about 2014, when the price of oil was over $100 a barrel and then fell to below $45 a barrel. That's about a 60% reduction, right? And at that time, a lot of companies started to collapse back to their core areas. Technologies were not something that they were investing heavily in for cloud technologies or next generation technologies. What we've seen in the last 5 years, I'd say, is a lot more investment in that space, but I still think that our industry is stifled compared to other industries. For example, of $60 billion that are spent every year on cloud services and cloud technologies, only 5% of that typically comes from the upstream.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But there's a huge opportunity for our partners and to deliver their solutions to solve some of these problems, delivering next generation technologies, including machine learning, data analytics, like Bluware's interactive AI.
Yeah. So what is AWS doing to solve these challenges in the energy industry as well as into the future?
At AWS, we always start with the customer. So we look at different customer requirements. We've been talking with the integrated operators, we've been talking with the national oil companies, mid-size producers and mid-size companies. And one of the things we recognize is HPC is a big part of our industry. And the cost for HPC is quite high, typically. So looking for opportunities to design and build out new solutions for HPC. Integrated workflows, subsurface workflows. A lot of different applications are used across that entire work cycle for the subsurface and on the surface. Big data and analytics, big challenge for the oil and gas company. And the other thing we're working on is our partner network. So really trying to develop a robust environment for our partners to come and offer their solutions to customers through AWS and enabled by AWS services.
Oh, that's great. Really tying in sort of all those end-to-end solutions, but also focusing on the customer, understanding what they need.
Absolutely. So we're also enabling our partners through the AWS Partner Network, where we're providing a lot of different services for our partners to use. So for example, we have Marketplace, which is a place where our partners can offer their solutions to the customers out there. And we also have SaaS Factory, which allows our partners to migrate what were legacy models for licensing and procurement and enabling that process.
Oh, wow, that's great. And kind of that ties into the next part, right? How are we revolutionizing the way we do geosciences? Can you speak to that from your wealth of experience in the energy industry?
You know, in the upstream, the subsurface workflows, there's like an estimated 60% of the time spent on managing data, manipulating data, moving data into different formats and different applications. So technologies like AWS Data Sync, AWS Snowball, Open VDS with Bluware. These are technologies that can help us to move large amounts of data into the cloud and move data, migrate all of that data into the cloud so that we can utilize other benefits from the cloud. For example, one of the mid-size Asia Pacific operators has worked with Bluware and with AWS to migrate some of their subsurface workflows into AWS, taking advantage of Bluware Fast.
Right.
And this allows them to take advantage of other technologies like deep learning, and it's reduced their interpretation time cycle considerably from months down to weeks and even days.
Wow, and that's huge.
Yes.
So industry has been averse to adopting different data standards. What kind of opportunities does the Open Group OSDU forum offer for these companies?
So the OSDU standardizes and secures data across applications from different data formats. Historically, the data was siloed in these applications on-premises solutions, whereas now with OSDU data architecture, we can collaborate more, we can integrate into more applications, particularly on the cloud. And this is opening up new ways of working and helping to integrate new workflows.
That's exciting.
So this will help operators generate a lot more value from their data. It lifts a lot of the monotony and the mechanics of data transform and data manipulation from the workroom, and just allows the geoscientists to have a much more effective way of collaborating.
So any advice for geoscientists that are entering this sort of new and evolving energy landscape?
One of the 16 leadership principles at AWS is to learn and be curious. I think geoscientists and engineers have expressed frustration with the amount of data manipulation that they have to work through, and geoscientists and engineers are already really proficient at working with diverse data sets. So there are a lot of resources on AWS and on Bluware where you can read about business use cases that can help to stimulate innovation. And I think that's something that's important for geoscientists who may be struggling with how to use cloud services.
Right. So we really appreciate you taking the time today to share some of those experiences as well as your knowledge with our audience today. And also, we really appreciate you dressing the part.
Well, it's been my pleasure. Thank you, Julian. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Joe.